Hi, vibrations, sweet babies. Okay, we are going through a new moon in the sign of Scorpio, and this new moon is one of those moons that collectively we're feeling. We're feeling into it. On a energetic level, it may be subtle, and for some it may be very strong. Like myself, I am very much feeling it. I am very much synced up to the moon at this current point in my life, um, on a womanhood level. But also, I'm really just feeling the subtle influence that Scorpio is really playing a part in as we move into Sagittarius season the following day after this new moon. So, with these energies at play, we have some really important lessons. And I've already spoke on this in previous readings that us collective, we've been on a journey, and it's here in the cards that I pulled for us today too, symbolizing a journey. And it's a significant one, and it has been one that you really put your all into. And I just want to gently remind you, Spirit gently wants to remind you to get back to your path, to get back on focus, to get back on track, and to really remember what this journey has all been about. It hasn't been about accomplishments. It hasn't been about how much money you're earning. It hasn't been about having some kind of trophy husband or wife. It has been about being really true to yourself and following your highest and greatest good. Because why? Why has this mattered to you? Why has this been the journey that you've devoted yourself to for quite some time now? Connect back to like what it is this was all for, because it's almost funny, but as a collective, because we've been so in tune for so long, and because we believed so many things to just will into existence and manifested so many things for ourselves, it's become sort of the nature of our reality. But we don't want to take these things for granted. And what I'm seeing here in the cards here is that there is a need for some inner healing in order for you to tap back into your infinite potential and to feel really directioned. What's the word I'm looking for? Feel really guided in a specific direction, in a specific path on your journey. So under the full moon, it was really about being grateful, reflecting, appreciating what you've done. And maybe the moon also illuminated what you were going to need to get a little bit more focused on with this new moon. And new moons are always really beautiful for starting something, new beginnings, setting new intentions, right? We have a new moon. The lunar cycle happens over a 28-day span. So that's many moons in a year that we're able to get very directioned and focused on specific things. However, depending on what other cosmic influences are going on at the time, some new moons are more impactful or influential, let's just say, when it comes to setting intentions. This is one of these moons, okay? So like I said, new moon energy is all about starting something, getting very directional, intentional. It's about narrowing in and getting aligned with whatever our intention is for the next lunar cycle, which is about a month, right? And usually this is for a greater goal. And us as a collective, if you've been listening along now for a while, we've been really clarifying on what it is we want for ourselves. We worked through a really big, I would say, divine lesson in the last year around letting go, about surrendering to life and finding more flow and enjoying life for what it is, accepting people for who they are, embracing yourself for the magic that you possess, right? So this was a really big lesson, and I just want to gently remind you that it did motivate you, and you have been purpose driven, and you have been focused, and you've been doing all the things. And if you're new here, welcome. I encourage you to go ahead and listen back to some other readings if any of the insights that I share in this video feel resonant to you. I also recommend going through the description box and looking at the different symbols if you're looking for different affirmations or symbols along your journey. I am Hannah, aka Bunny, on the online spaces. I'm a professional model. I'm a mindset and life coach. And I also love to share some woo-woo, energetic, mystical nonsense in my every possible waking second that I'm not working, to be honest. I love diving into oracle cards. I love looking into astrology. I love connecting with earth and crystals and meditating and all kinds of fun things to keep myself in a space of just feeling really connected to who I am, being able to connect well with others, to feel like I have some kind of at least understanding of my life and the way I'm interacting in it. Okay, that's what spiritualism really brings to me. And I'm hoping that through listening to my oracle readings, you are able to find a little bit of soul food for thought that eases you along your own personal journey. So back to this reading, right? This new moon energy is all about rebirth, right? It's the whole energy of rebirth. When something ends, as we learned through our beautiful lesson in the last wheel of the season, is about how to let go and how to trust the process and how to surrender to life and how to be okay with the highs, the lows, the negatives, the positives, and to just be here, to be with it. And Scorpio is literally that sign. Scorpio to me is just that boss ass bitch energy because it can get down with the hard pills to swallow in life, if you will. Funny how my throat just like, ooh, some things are difficult, right? But Scorpio is not afraid of the difficult, the dark, the not so great, the unpleasant. Scorpio's like, okay, and like, what's next? Like, yeah, life is fucked up. Like, it's just not going to be so easily tripped up or scared off or whatever. So use this energy now to deep dive, right? Because Scorpio is about the depth, right? Sometimes we can stereotype Scorpios to be a little bit dark, dreary, disconnected, and using emotions in a not so typical way that we see with the other water signs. But no, I like to think of Scorpio as the scorpion that must dive deep in order to really feel that sort of emotional connection and likes to dive into the depth of emotional connection. Not that it can't just have that surface level, you know, more whimsical, lighthearted connection. But Scorpios are understanding the depth in which we can connect as beings. And what I think Scorpio does really well is that it goes beneath the surface. It's not afraid to get through some of the icky, tricky parts of life in order to get to the depth, to the core, right? Scorpions dig down into the earth, into the soil, until they find the cool, crisp waters that other people cannot access. Other creatures, other beings, other archetypes are unable to access. So that's what the Scorpio really represents. And when it comes to the moon, it's about our inner world. It's about what's going on beneath the surface. It's about what's going on in a deep-rooted way. And I did just share a reading about something being deeply rooted, something that needs to be healed and worked through at the root and at the core. And whatever that was, oops, sorry, headphone users, I bumped into the mic. Whatever that was probably illuminated over the full moon a couple weeks ago and has been made a little bit more and more evident in your life, that not only does it exist? But a lot of it has to do with you. Okay, this new moon is about the hard pills to swallow, right? Scorpio is like, I'll make it a little bit more digestible for you. Let's discuss this before we go into Sagittarius season, because honey, Scorpio is like trying to like ease it for you. Like Scorpio is like, I want to see what's going on. I'm not afraid to name it. I'm not afraid to face it. I'm not afraid to, address it. I have the capacity to go deep. But let me tell you, like, I'm getting ready to pass you off to Sagittarius. And Sagittarius is a fire sign, right? Scorpio's like, I'm trying to do this in a way, like, let's just be real. Sagittarius is going to be like, let's fucking attack this head on. Sagittarius is the truth seeker. Sagittarius wants to have everything out in the open so that everything can just be neutralized. Like Sagittarius does not want to fight, does not want to argue, does not want to have to bring out that vicious fire energy when we're talking about the overall healed archetype of Sagittarius. But the Sagittarius is a fire sign in the sense that it will blaze a cleansing fire, if you will, to get to the core of something, to get to the truth, to get to the real, to get to like the real essence of something. Okay, Scorpio's like, we'll go deep, but we need to heal this in order for Sagittarius to be able to like bring you into this beautiful essence that you're looking for. Because Sagittarius is all about fun. Sagittarius is like the party of the zodiac, like down for a good time. And in order for you to actually be able to have the goals that you want for yourself, Sagittarius is here to show you the truth about whatever it is that you've been working through, whatever it is that you need to be healing so that you can have a good time. Sagittarius will be the first to call you out, be like, girl, don't wear those shoes. Don't wear those shoes to the club. You're going to be tripping all over yourself like a hot mess. Trust me, take those off. Because the Sagittarius wants to dance with you all night and wants you to have a good time, and they don't want you to be hurt, and they don't want you to be like falling over yourself, making an ass of yourself. So Sagittarius is going to tell you straight to your face, hey, this is what you need to do. Change this up real quick so that we can go party, girl. Like, that's the energy. So here's how this all relates to you and your healing journey under this new moon. And I'm going to give you a couple things that you can do under today's into tomorrow's full moon. So you have some time to work with this energy. And of course, you can always just take what resonates whenever you find it. The insights here are from you in divine timing and from your own energy when you need to hear it. You're going to obviously connect with something in your vibrational frequency at that time that you're in that frequency. So anyways, just trust the process, right? With this new moon, Scorpio's like, whatever does not belong to the version of yourself who's going to show up to that party and be able to be in your truth and like party with the Sag. I'm sorry, I'm a Sagittarius, so obviously I'm going to be hyping up my sign and my season, okay? Scorpio's like, let's get you good. Let's get you right. Let's get you to like, the depth of who you are and like get rid of whatever does not belong so that you can expand and like really be in this very harmonious, peaceful, playful, whimsical, and the card fun with the flamingo is literally here. And what I love about the flamingo card is that it's the card number 2. So not only do I see, birds of a feather flock together and you're going to be connected with fun people, but I see that a specific partnership, a specific dynamic has a lot of infinite potential to be really fun. Here's the thing. Whatever it is that you need to work through in this new moon, right? The theme here is letting go, rebirth, renewal, cutting cords, honey. You have to let go of something in order to have more fun. And not only that, but the actions that you're taking in order to have more fun. maybe the version of fun that you've had, or the version of fun things that you do or things that you like to do that make you have fun need to change, because you're realizing that there's probably some ways that this has been limiting you and your potential. And it might even be in ways that you don't fully understand yet, but you can see and recognize, okay, this is like not good for me. And your subconscious is always going to show you things when you're ready to actually address it. So collective, if we've all been seeing our shit, it's because as a collective, we're ready to actually work through it. Don't put yourself into a cycle and fall out of the vibrational work that you've been doing by trying to skirt around this healing. So some very important symbols that were coming through for us collective for this reading. The road needs work ahead. Okay, there is a journey, there is a road, there is a path that you're on, but I'm foreseeing that it's going to need some work. There will be something involving baggage. I want to say something involving a move might be significant. And I also see that it's going to take you to actually work on this path and work on this journey in order for you to get what you want. I see that this requires focus on specific relationships, and I also see that this requires specific relationships ending. So here's the thing. Put a pin in it, whatever the fuck it is. And I'm saying this as a collective. We all need to hear this together. There's an energy here of escapism. I'm just going to say it because there's no use in me sugarcoating anything for you right now and right here under this new moon, where it's really an important time for you to continue to recommit to this path that you've been on. Because whatever it is that you don't let go with this Scorpio that's like, hey baby, I'm just trying to help you out real quick. Okay, like I'm here to really assist you in this energy of letting go, so that whatever you have with you under the 1212 expansion portal is going to be what you actually want, and not just cycles and not just patterns and not just behaviors that you've done before and that are played out. It's so clear right here in the cards that your actions, whatever the fun things that you're used to or whatever you used to think were fun, are directly affecting how much potential you're having in life right now. And I always usually say, like, the more fun you have, the more, abundance you're going to have. However, what I'm seeing here in the cards is that you specifically, in the past readings that we did on our Journey Collective, declared that your version of success right now means how healthy and successful your relationships are. So however you're having fun right now is going to be impacting that as your abundance. You declared it. That was your focus. That was the journey that you're on. So what are you focused on? What things right now, what relationships, what habits, what actions, what behaviors, what patterns need to end so that you can finally say that you have achieved that form of abundance? And reminder that if you do not let it go, that whatever is keeping you from that form of abundance, that's what's going to expand in this upcoming portal. So be intentional, be focused, be diligent, be disciplined. There's a huge energy here around needing to discipline. I think escapism might be something that our collective is struggling with. And listen, I get it. As we approach Sagittarius season, it is very easy to just get caught up in the motions. I'm seeing that ancestry or family tree might be impactful for this this relationship. This might be one of these relationships where with the family, it has impacted your journey. And I do see in the cards here that it has destined you to, it's a path that was destined in order for you to eliminate distractions. It was a path for you to understand the importance of nipping things in the bud, of being focused, of being intentional, and not letting distractions get to you so that you could finally see how fruitful and how abundant something can truly become. I do see that you're thinking about what sort of lineage or what sort of legacy that you want to leave behind. And this has been a maze for you. Maze is significant. That's interesting. Or labyrinth, rather, has been significant, is significant in the reading. So, like, this has been a difficult journey. This has been a confusing journey of what legacy you want to leave behind. Not only what you want to, but what you're actually capable of. And that maze in itself of feeling confused, of having to actually think about those things, 333 is very significant for us collective at this current point in time. This has been a journey for you that was destined in order for you to be the person in your lineage and in your legacy who is not distracted from their full, honest, God-given potential. Potential and focus are really the bottom line of this card. And I want to remind you that there is infinite potential in something that is you've been working towards, something that you have been focused on, something that you have been intentional around. So don't spiral. Don't let yourself circle back. Don't let yourself recycle and go into old ways, okay? Because that is what this new moon energy is really being so specific and clear, allowing you to get clear around and what all of that is. 27 is significant. Yes, and the new moon energy is asking you to let go of something. And it's not something that's going to just be like easy. So let's go ahead and give you a couple of practices before I wrap this up here for this new moon that we're going into. So you could do the whole vision board, visualization type of thing with this new moon, of course, as always, but that's not really the energy here. Scorpio is a little bit more like get to the bottom of it, get to the bottom line, really like get a little cutthroat. So I'm going to tell you some of my Scorpio-inspired practices that I have used in coaching and that I use myself and find to be absolutely powerful and really wonderful for getting things done and calling things in and letting things go. Okay, so first things first, you want to go ahead and clear the energy in your space. Create a space that is meant for you to do energetic, spiritual work. Okay, this is a practice, this is a ritual that you're about to do right now. And that doesn't have to be like, oh no, I didn't go to Hogwarts. Like, I don't know how to do that right. Like, there's really no way to do that wrong. All I want you to do is find a space, uninterrupted, quiet, focused. This doesn't need to be a huge, long practice or thing that you do, but it should be intentional, okay, so that you can really get the most out of it. Now I want you to go ahead and clear the space with either sage, incense. Lighting a candle is really powerful too, but I would recommend lighting the candle after you've gotten a little bit more clarity on what it is you want to invoke and ignite into the upcoming fire season. So maybe hold off on the candle till the end, but if you want to just get the aroma going, by all means, go for it. But setting this space so that you can really drop in is really, really powerful and intentional, because what we're about to do is go into a visualization that I want you to be very relaxed for. So for this visualization, I'm sorry, again, headphone users, I just knocked into the mic again. Maybe I'll go ahead and make a separate audio at some point down the line for a visualization that I'm talking about, but for your own self, you can do this, no problem. I'm sure that there's videos online for this whole idea, but Get nice and super relaxed. Turn on some music if need be. But I want you to just focus on your breath and just focus on getting relaxed. And I want you to call to mind your life in a month, a year, 3 years, of what your life looks like if you do the same shit you're doing right now. Let's be honest. You know exactly what it is that I'm talking about. You have already had these things come up and come to mind of like, hey, maybe I should stop that. Maybe I should quit this. Maybe I need to let this go. Be real with yourself. This is the time to drop into the reality of your life, your habits, your actions, and your behaviors. What does life look like a month from now if you're doing the exact same shit the exact same way that you've been doing? And that means this habit that you're not intentionally letting go. Because if you've been having this behavior, this habit, this lack of discipline, lack of discernment, whatever it is that's bringing you into a space of lack, or at least keeping you from your true potential, it's not going to just magically stop and disappear without your intentional focus and discipline around it. So in a month, what does that look like? All right, maybe it's not so bad and it's not like you need to get right on it or anything, right? So then think about a year. What happens in a year if you have not stopped doing this? What is going on around you? Who is around you? What things did you miss out on? What things didn't you put energy and focus onto because you kept up with this same old pattern and way of doing things? What things didn't you say yes to because you were busy saying yes to this way of being? What things were outside of your comfort zone that you didn't get to experience because you were so busy staying with what you're used to and what's familiar and the same patterns and the same cycles? All right, it's starting to be a little bit of a worry, right? I mean, I would be worried. And then we can start to visualize what our life would look like 3 years from now if this had still been an issue, if this was still something that's coming up, if this was still something that you're no longer now just doing, but you're clearly struggling with, because if you could have stopped and experienced all of those beautiful things, you probably would have. But now this is something that's become habitual. It's become a pattern. It's become a cycle. It's become something ingrained in your way of operating. It's become deep-rooted. And the truth is, the longer that you let it go on, the more deep-rooted and the more difficult it will be to stop. So, after you've done that visualization, it's time to get very clear with yourself and write an affirmation around what it is that you're letting go. You might want to write it on a piece of paper, and this would be a great time to light that candle, and you can even burn this piece of paper if you'd like to, okay? And if it's safe, please don't start any fires. This is a symbolic experience for you to say that you are done with this. You're letting it be cleansed, removed, turned to ash, and that something beautiful will take its place. This is Scorpio's jam. This is where Scorpio thrives. Use that energy, use that influence that's cosmic right now. And when you've done this, now I want you to go ahead and either come back to that same affirmation that you created with the 1111 portal, or write a new one. And I want you to record an audio of you saying this affirmation to yourself, either over and over again, or create a couple of different affirmations related to this theme, and record this audio of you saying these affirmations. And I want you to listen to this audio every single day up until the 12/12 portal. So it doesn't have to be a long audio. It doesn't have to be a half-hour audio like mine are. This can be anywhere from 10 seconds to even 10 minutes if you wanted to. Whatever you decide to do, just make it an audio that's you just coming from this relaxed space that you're in when you write this affirmation, and speaking in a tone that allows you to know that you are talking to the version of self who's going to have to make those changes, who's going to have to make those new habits and let go of those old ones. And as you listen to this audio, it is a reminder from here in this time and space when you're doing this practice that that is what your soul is after. That there may be times when you want to go back to what feels familiar, or there might be doubt or hesitation that creeps in, but you are declaring this and calling accountability on yourself so that this version of self is the one that is steering the ship from here, and not the version of self that in a month, a year, or 3 years down the line is tremendously lost and feeling stuck and feeling in this state of pattern and cycles that they could have done right here and right now. You took a glimpse into that timeline and you said, no, that is not for me. That is not who I am. That is not what I want to be. And you're letting it go. And so every time you listen to this audio, you are calling upon a version of yourself that is creating and literally pulling that other 1111 visual into your timeline and into your experience. You are recommitting yourself to that vision. You are calling that back into your mind. And if you even want to, you can go ahead and meditate on your vision board that you made under the full moon if you've been listening along, or I'm sorry, not the full moon, the 1111 portal, if you've been listening along with me collective and doing some of these practices and rituals. Meditate and really sit with that vision board as you listen to your audio recording of your affirmation. This is putting you in your own vibration. This is putting you in connection with what you have been visualizing, what your soul has been calling in, and what your soul has been bringing awareness. Your subconscious mind is ready to work on these things. Otherwise, you would not have even been able to perceive these things as problems, as habits of limitations, as things that are no longer healthy and good for you. Notice how I haven't really gone into what those things are, because this is your journey. And quite frankly, Spirit's telling me that I don't even have to. You know. I know that we have a theme here of escapism in the name of fun, of craving fun, of wanting fun. But guess what's fun? Having everything you deserve. Guess what's fun? Having what your soul has been calling and longing for quite some time. Otherwise, why would you be getting these notions, these glimmers, these indications of something more, of something that's available for you? Why would these things that you maybe at one point weren't sure if you can have feel like resonant to you, or just spark joy in you and make you light up? It's okay to admit that you've changed. It's okay to admit that the things that you want have changed. And if that's true, be honest with yourself. But do not allow the things that you are changing to be in the name of fun, a good time, a hoot and a holler. Because if this idea and version of fun that is fleeting, that is short term, that is gone in an instant, is fun for you, your poor long version 3 years down the line self, no one's thinking about that version of you. I'm always about the person who wants to live in the present. I'm always about being here and in the now. But only when we're coming from a soul-aligned place. When we're fully embodied and in the present, our soul doesn't long to do things that pull us away from our purpose. When we are truly embodied in loving ourselves in the present moment, we are not drawn towards things that are going to be escapism. We're not looking for a rush. We're not looking for a thrill. We're not looking for that burst of fun that's fleeting and disappears. Because being here, being present, going for things, being tapped in, tuned in, turned on feels fun for the soul. But what we get lost in is this escapism, this pattern, this familiarity. Sometimes it doesn't even feel fun. It just feels comfortable. It just feels familiar. But your intuition has been waking up and is stronger now more than ever. And even if it feels difficult or challenging through this new moon, once this Mercury retrograde haze, okay, and once some of these other cosmic transits shift, believe you me, it will not feel fun anymore. You will drop back to reality. It will be a plummet. It will be a descent. For any quick fleeting fun, rush in the moment that is not in your highest and greatest good will not feel as good down the line. When you don't have the things that you wanted, when you closed yourself off with your limiting beliefs and with your limiting habits, with your limiting ideologies or whatever it is. You deserve the things that you have been calling in, that you put intention around and wished for and prayed for under the 1111 portal. The visions that you spent time putting onto vision boards, doing the affirmation work, doing the inner healing work. You are worth it. And this is the lingering, beautiful effects of the magician, right? Which showed us all of the illusions that we were placing on ourselves that were keeping us from our dreams, our goals, our manifestations. And now, once that illusion has been lifted, right? Because the magician's all about, oh, you want to play tricks? You want to like make wishes? You want to like have illusions and make things come into existence right before your very eyes? Okay. Here's everything you're doing that's keeping you from all of that. Here's everything you're doing that's keeping you from your greatest wishes. There you go. Magic wand waved. And then it's such an awareness. It's such a self-realization that sometimes it's easier to just put the blinders on. It's easier to use escapism. It's easier to just use fun. Seagulls are significant here. I'm interested about what their message is, and I can put that in the description box below. But as I said before, what feels familiar, what feels like an escape in the short term, what feels like something that is a fun way to be, or it's just a distraction, or it's just keeping you from giving enough energy to what is really purposeful for you. Scorpio is asking you, are you ready to claim that you're worth more? Are you ready to accept everything that you've been asking for? Are you ready to finally make enough room for everything you've been surrendering and letting go? You've already made so many sacrifices. This is it. This is what's coming from within yourself that you need to let go of. Can you do it so that you can have everything you want? Scorpio is showing up here again like a little postcard from a Scorpio season where we were asked to dive deep and we were asked to let go. We were asked to, some of us, grieve and face some of the hardest things, right? And now we're being asked, can you let go of what you are carrying, or what you are contributing, or what you're not doing? Can you let go of this within yourself so you can have everything you've wanted? You've done it. The hard parts are done. Why is this now the part that we can't let go of? That is what Scorpio wants us to dive deep and be truthful around. And as we embrace that truth, it's not about shame. It's not about disliking ourselves. It's about loving ourselves enough to know that we are worth more. We're worth the things that we're keeping ourselves from. We're worth more than the patterns and cycles we've been playing out time and time again. We're worth everything we've set those intentions around. So let our things go, so we can finally have that space for them to drop in, to expand and manifest in our life. Jupiter season. Jupiter wants to come in and create beautiful, wonderful things and bring things into manifestation. Jupiter wants that for you, but we're just not there yet. And the things, the actions we're doing, the things that we're saying, the things that we're involved with, engaging in, etc., that's what's paving our way. That's what's bringing us there. How can you be more focused? What things are distractions? What things need to be brought to an end? And I want to leave you with this. Sometimes things being brought to an intentional end have much more influence, have much more impact on your energy, and are also just so much more healing for the other party or for whatever it is than to leave things open, right? Because if we're not intentionally bringing things to a close, we are leaving it open. And what Scorpio here is to show you that you have to have endings in order for your new beginnings. You can't just leave things open to what way. That's how you get lost in your labyrinth again, my friend. And you are worth more than that, and you've done so much now that it would be so silly for you to not use the lessons you've learned, and through your growth, through your enlightenment journey that you've been on, this understanding that you have to have endings in order to have new beginnings. Something has to end so that something can be began. Whatever things need to be closed, whatever endings need to be found. And I'm seeing that this might even be involving relationships. This could be connections, partnerships, dynamics, whatever. It seems like it is relational. Things need to be brought to a full end, to a full stop, in order for other things in your life to be brought to a new beginning and to fulfill your full potential. So, reminder that these cosmic influences are happening for all of us, and if we don't get really intentional, this shit's gonna happen and play out in one way or another in our lives, because it's affecting all people, and we're all feeling these things subtly. But us as a collective, we can work with this. We can get groovy with this. We can adapt, and we can flow, and we can harmonize, and we can be in alignment and rhythm with our life. But we have to be intentional, because when all of those cosmic transits that come up to bring things back up to surface, or to bring things back around, or whatever it is, who do you want to be when those things show up? Okay, I'm going to leave my reading at that. I'm hoping that it felt resonant and truthful to you, my friends. I'm sending you lots of love in, and I will talk to you soon.